What is going on today, YouTube? Hope you guys are doing fantastic. OB10 has been out for a week, and I've officially broken the meta. Let's take a look at all the builds and how to play each role currently. Starting with ADC, you've got about 2 builds currently. You've got the crit build, and then you've also got the tank shredder build, more like you're a little bit, more survivable with this build, but you're going to be doing a lot more DPS with the crit build currently. With Rage, Demon Blade, Deathbringer, once you get Rage stacked, you're sitting at about 85% crit. Your Lernaean bow does crit also. And then XC allows you to shred a little bit. Bloodforge gives you that tiny bit of survivability you need. And pairing that up with Cal gives you 20% lifesteal into the late game. The difference comes, are you playing against multiple tanks? Sometimes if your mid laner is not, building Soul Reaver, it can be a little bit harder to deal with them because of how much health they build. If you just go the Tyrfing, Odibo, XC, Kins, Sunbeam Bow, and Titan's Bane into a tank, you will just absolutely rip them to shreds. Sunbeam Bow is also now both just as good with physicals and magicals. You get 40 strength as a physical and 50 if you're building int. And it is very good for gods like On Her, where with Sunbeam Bow and with like Tyrfing, your damage ramps up really quickly and you start doing a lot of damage to tanks. It's also to objectives. It's also to, squishies too. You just have to ramp with Tyrfing, which is like its slight issue against squishies. But your damage does become very, very hard to deal with just after about 5-6 autos against anyone. The one thing I will say is it's a little bit easier to carry games with crit, but sometimes if you have some good teammates and, you can kind of expect them to play the game well and all you need to do is just do your job, this tank shredder build will be feeling fantastic. Going to my support build, I'm officially in love with the tier 2 stacking build. It's just very, very cheap, very, very efficient. Selflessness is your lead off. Depending on if you're going the physical or magical style, this is the starting build if you're going physical. And if you're going the magical style, when you're only playing against one physical character, so you're playing against, 3 or 4 magical gods, ignoring tanks, you don't have to worry about tanks. But if they have, just one ADC and then they have 3 magical gods and then, a tank solo laner or a tank support who's playing Hercules, and you don't really worry about that damage, this is the type of build that I would go against magicals, and this is the type of build I'd go against physicals. And the reason that it's so good is Dwarven Plate. Dwarven Plate makes it so all of your magical protections stacked on top of each other are just more efficient, or all of your physical protections are just more efficient. So a build like this, I'm sitting at 3,200 health, sitting at 315 physical protections, 126 magical protections. I will be able to just kind of walk at anyone, and this is a build that I felt is the best, and it also, because of how cheap it is, 750, 750, 750, and then like 23, 24, 2800, you are just allowed to start going into 3k pots rather quickly. So going into like an elixir early when the enemy mid laner still doesn't even have his elixir is very strong. And that's just, the difference between this build and a normal build. Like maybe you can get to just as high of protections with another build, but this one you'll get them way, way quicker. And it'll feel like a much better curve. And in the other video I was talking about, the magical one doesn't feel as good. I think the build feels just as good. Now that I've tried it a few times, playing against a few magical gods, it still does feel really good. 3,200 again, sitting at 308 magical, 148 physical. You will be pretty unkillable to a lot of the magical damage dealers, and that's without your 2 even. Which makes you even tankier. This is the build that I've really liked on a lot of supports. Going into jungle, I don't think a ton of things have really changed much. I just build beads a whole lot in jungle. Blink still doesn't feel very good. They haven't really buffed it. I don't know if they're happy with where it's at or if they're thinking about bringing back combat blink. I don't know. But I've been going a lot of beads. You kind of just need it. The build that I've been looking forward to a lot of the times when I'm jungling is just this pendulum into hydras or hydras into pendulum build. That 4 seconds off your cooldowns makes it so you can just outplay in 2v1s, 1v2s, I mean. You have a lot of damage. With the Willix specifically, Xerxes is really good. For any other god, this is just a fill item. You can kind of just look at the rest of these. You can go like a Heartseeker here. You can get rid of one of these for Heartseeker. This is just the most damage you can get against a squishy character. I'm not really worried about killing tanks as a Willix. I'll kill them anyway if I'm hitting them enough. And if I'm not hitting them, we're winning fights because I'm diving the backliners. But if you don't like the Xerxes and you're playing like a different god that, doesn't really make great use out of Xerxes, there's a whole bunch of other items you can do. I've been really liking avatars. That displacement immunity actually feels really good because of how many Jade Scepters we've seen. So I've been liking that. You can also go something like Lernaean Bow, which is maybe a little underrated, I think, a lot of the times, instead of Brawlers. Brawlers is 100 gold more. You're getting only 20 strength more, but this one you're getting 30% attack speed. And the burst that you actually get off of it is very underrated. So you like knock up, you just get an extra, I mean, it'll tell me 600 damage from the Lernaean bow. So I've been really liking that also. For mid lane, I've been looking at just starting mostly just 2 different ways. You're either going Bloodbound Book or Jade Scepter. You are really susceptible to getting ganked in the early game and into like the mid game, late game, but Bloodbound Book and Jade Scepter don't really drop your DPS much or change your builds up too much, but it just makes you very hard to 1v1 or even 1v2, and I've been liking how they feel, one or the other. Most of the time I like Jade Scepter more, but sometimes Bloodbound Book can be very good, but it's mostly just choosing between which one of these. You just kind of got to think, what am I getting dove by? I'm getting dove by, you know, a Guan Yu. Is Jade Scepter going to be very good versus Guan Yu with his ultimate being CC immune and his 3 being knock immune? Not really. Kali's another one. A lot of Kali gamers getting played because of just she's really good, she's really new. She's not going to be immune and ult. Not going to feel very good with Jade Scepter. She just got to think a little bit what's the better way to go about it, but Deso Rod, Divine, Obshard, and Soul Reaver gives you a ton of damage into the late game against squishies, against tanks, and then you also have the survivability with Bloodbound Book and Jade Scepter. Lastly, Cabrakan. I think either 1, Eye of the Storm is currently bugged for how good it is, like the pull, or 2, it's just been broken and nobody's tried it, and now that it's been buffed so many times, it's just very, very strong. I played this in a game right before hitting the stream or the record button, and I dominated the game. I was like top damage. Just very quickly to show you, 48,000 damage, highest in the lobby. Also 88,000, took 70, or mitigated 88, tanked 71,000, 5, 3, and 8. My team won the game, even with my CERN dying 11 times. It felt great. The health per second you're getting back. So on a build like this with, you know, Bluestone, Yogis, and, you know, it kind of changes depending on like the order of your build, but sitting at 22 health per second. And that's without the passive from Yogis or the healing from Shield of the Phoenix. This being 3% of my max health, and this being 0.5% of my max health every second. So even if I am, you know, tanking towers and using my Eye of the Storm, I'm just slowly going to be healing up all of this. And I disengage from a fight from just a few seconds, and just like that, I'm healing up 40 health every second with this, and that's without even using my Phoenix Shield, which I can proc on multiple people very easily.
Double kill.
So, yeah. This build, I think, feels phenomenal. And the Mystical Mail combination with Eye of the Storm. So, Mystical Mail actually feels really good if you can melee range them. And Eye of the Storm is perfect for that. So, doing, you know, 52 damage. Obviously, this is a totem, so you're not going to be doing 52 damage. But you'll be doing a little bit more because you also have the Void Stone 15% debuff. You'll have Mystical Mail doing as much as possible. And then Eye of the Storm keeping them close. And if you're ever getting bursted, just pop that Nemean and reflect 40% of the damage back to the enemy. Perfect. GG's. That's all it is. But yeah, that's a look at every role in the meta currently. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure you guys leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys again next time. Peace.